Welcome back, everybody. O-H-I-O. See that right there? See that? Oh, you can't see it.
Now I do. Now I do.
Yep, right there. It is the game week. No M's allowed, but we are here on the Sports Analyst Podcast. Jessa, how we doing today?
We're doing good. We're doing good. Well, I mean, I just told you I was a little depressed because Jared just pulled up everybody the score of the BYU versus Stanford women's soccer game. Throwback to 2023 or 2022, whenever we went out to North Carolina, it's 4-0 at the 50-minute mark. Not for BYU. No, no, no. For Stanford.
No, no. I'm
So,
pulling
I
it up
don't
right now.
yeah.
We can look. Never mind, the ESPN app sucks butt. So we're not even going to go there. Yeah, not good, not good. But we're good here on the
Yep.
podcast. Um, alrighty. First things first. Thank you to everybody who's watching. Our last episode randomly got like 200 views.
There's nothing
Uh,
random about it. People are passionate about the playoff.
people love it. People love it. We
Yeah.
had people jumping in the comments telling us we were stupid. Some people telling us we were smart. I loved it. All
That
of it.
means it's working.
That means it's working. You know what? See, this is why people talk about the playoff, Jess, because it does numbers. It does numbers. But again, that's why we have to fight it. Anyway, we have an idea. Just to put it out there, programming note. Next episode, maybe we do a megasode, so we can get all of the Ohio State fans on here and kind of like talk through our feelings for this Saturday. But that'll be next episode. We got to focus on this episode. And for everybody who joined the Discord on Saturday night, it was a lot of fun. All of sports analysts were basically in there. It was amazing. We had three different groups of where the game was for different people. We had like the early group, and then we had the middle group, and then we had the group that was like way behind everybody else.
Yep.
So
Thanks,
we'll
YouTube
figure that
TV.
out. Yeah,
Yep.
we'll figure that out next time, trying to find a way to sync up. But one of the things in that Discord was there's a lot of heated discussion about the offense, and Uncle Doug, Jessa, your father had quite a few words to say on the subject.
Yep. And he has crafted a wonderfully recorded video for us to play. It's its own segment. We haven't seen it yet. Well, we've seen the first 5 seconds, and we're really excited. So let's just go ahead and play it. Here's Doug.
All right, all right. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, I'm totally reading this. Okay, my first take. When offenses and defenses are evenly matched in size and speeds, the outcome is decided by scheme and execution. Talent. Execution and talent, the same thing. If your scheme primarily exploits your size and execution advantage, playing a team with equal size and speed or superior size and speed basically makes your offensive scheme invalid. Okay? It's unschemable. Doesn't matter what you call, right? You're going to get the equal amount of plays that are good and bad. At that
Okay.
point, you need a new scheme if you really want to win. With a big gap in size between speed and weight and size, big gap, okay, you've got to have a better scheme. If your scheme is designed to have a wide receiver beat a DB one-on-one, or for your running back to get through the hole that's opened, if that's your scheme, if that's what you're relying on, there's no execution, there's no energy, there's no heart that's going to compensate for that. And the bigger the gap, the worse it looks. Okay? BYU is going to need two things if they're going to eventually do well or even beat teams like Texas Tech. The first one, they're going to need to scheme better. They're going to have to scheme for misdirection and better matchups. Whatever that strategy is, they're either going to tire them out, hold the ball, but they got to be able to get first downs, and it's got to be scheme. It can't be, we're going to run over you. We got better players. It can't be execution, okay? So at the end, all the heart and the energy for BYU is not going to make it work. Okay. Little pause. Take number 2. 4 strategies, okay, in all of college football. The first one's the February strategy. That's recruiting. And right now, BYU's doing well. They're eating at a bigger, better buffet right now. partly maybe because they can afford the bill, but they're doing well. Number two is the meal strategy. Okay, you got to feed all the kids all the time. They got to like the food. They can't get tired of it, and they got to want to come back when they leave, and that's culture. Man, BYU's doing a good job. They got good chefs. They're serving up good food, and they're meeting everybody's needs. They're doing a good job. The third one is the weather forecasting strategy. Okay, that's the on-field schema and identity. Okay, are we forecasting just to win the summer games? Those are the ones we should beat. Are we forecasting to do well in October, early October? You know, beat some of the teams that we should beat, maybe, maybe not. We're looking to just get 6 wins. That's the late October, right? We want to be able to go to a bowl game. Or are we forecasting February? The storms in November, not February, November. If we're forecasting for November, that means we may get to the conference title. We may not win it, but we're forecasting there. I'm so dang good at this. If we've got a forecast for December, that means we're going to win the conference championship, right? We know the weather, we know what's coming. We got everything in a row. We feel good we can do that. If we've got a January strategy, we're going to the CFP. And if we've got a February strategy, spring, we can handle anything God, is going to send at us. And then the fourth one, we got to have a flame tender. You know what a flame tender is? It's a guy that starts the fires and keeps it burning, knows how to go up and down. That's the head coach. You got to know your guys. You got to know your fuels. You can't let them explode and burn out everybody around them. You can't let one fuel get worse than the other. It can't get hotter at one time. You got to know how to start the fire, keep it burning, and then you got to know how to fuel it at the right time with the right opportunity so you get the most energy out of that fire when you need it. If you can't flame tend, man, winning the big game just isn't going to happen. Anyways, there's my 30-second, minute and a half, 4-minute take. Love you guys.
Wow! Hook,
Huge
Doug!
round of applause for Doug.
Hook!
That was amazing.
That was amazing. Initial thoughts.
He was cooking. Doug was cooking there. Those are some fiery takes. I loved his metaphors, his analogies. Those were very, very good. The fire tender. I think it is all very like right on the nose. Like when he was saying, BYU's not gonna like we're not gonna beat you with our talent, and so if you're scheming to beat them with talent, that's not gonna happen. I mean, we saw that against Texas Tech. I feel like right is we tried to get our guys to win in the open field, and we couldn't do anything. So I Doug, you're right on there.
And I think as I've talked to him about this, like his expectations, that's what's setting his expectations. Of like we beat Cincinnati, and this is what he said in the Discord. It's like we beat Cincinnati because we were bigger, faster, stronger. Like,
Mm,
and we'll get into it, but running it down the gut 40 times and it working is usually a sign that you're bigger, faster, stronger.
yeah.
And so I think that's why maybe he wasn't as. I mean, he was excited for the win, but he was like, well, let's enjoy this because postseason, when we get up against more talented teams, the only time that has happened, Texas Tech, we got punched in the mouth. So let's enjoy
Hmm.
this, but just so you know, if us as fans don't see something different, then this is what we should be expecting. So, very well said, Doug. Very
Yes.
punchy. Well done. That was awesome.
Very, very good. And I think he did a great job of explaining how BYU he applauded BYU for being in the spot where we can win with bigger bodies and we can run the ball 40 times against Cincinnati and win. Like that's cool. Like not a ton of teams can do that or are even close to being able to do that. And BYU is at a place where they can do that. So like hats off to the recruiting, like Doug said there is that extra step now, and I think we never had to accomplish that step in independence. But now that we're in the Big 12, like we need to figure out that last step, right? You need to figure out how to beat teams that out physical you and that out talent you. And again, I don't really know what the answer is there, but besides what Doug said, right, is just scheme. Like you're gonna have to
Yep.
beat them with scheme that isn't just execute and win on talent.
And that's kind of what our uncles are used to in the 80s, right? Like in Lavelle's
Very
era,
much
that's
so.
how he won, right? Is like he put together the greatest coaching staff that the West had ever seen, maybe college football had ever seen at the time, right? And it
Hmm.
completely just revolutionized the game. They were so creative because they didn't have necessarily the consistent talent, right? You
Right.
had gems come in the door every now and again, but yeah, so I think that's valid for them to feel that way. And honestly, like it's a proven success in the past. It could be a proven success in the future. So, very well said.
Yep. Very well said, Doug. I also loved. I was trying super hard not to just bust out laughing because the first half of his thing, it's just
So
it's
good.
so good. You
It
could tell it was
added to
coming.
it.
It did. The intensity was ramping up. I didn't know when he was going to leave. Anyway, perfect, perfect lead in to our conversation about Cincinnati. Again, shout out to everybody in the Discord. We loved it. We love hearing from you guys. We loved like Doug's hot take. We need more of that. We need more spicy takes on this pod from everybody. Um, I said last week that we just needed to win. That's all I wanted. And so we did that. So I really can't be upset. I have no right to be upset because all I wanted was a win and we got it. But Jessa, how are you feeling post beating Cincinnati? What was it, 26-14?
Yeah. Immediately after, I was pretty pissed. Like, I hated us. I was like, we are Iowa. This is ugly, gross. Like, you have to understand, too, the guy who made me fall in love with college football, two guys, Trevon Boykin and Cody Hoffman. I love a good passing game. All
Yep.
right? Watch me play college football 26. I love a good passing game. And also, we had left last week saying, like, okay, our biggest question is um is the passing game and the deep threat. So my expectations, I was like wired on that. And it
Yep.
just this wasn't a game for that, very obviously, right? Tried to get the passing going in the beginning. And so afterwards I was like really disappointed. And I thought that the rest of the BYU fans would be disappointed. And then I got on Twitter and I was like, oh, everybody's actually pretty happy with this gritty win, you know? So maybe it's a me problem. Hmm. Maybe I shouldn't be upset because to your point, we won. And at the end of the day, I would much rather take an ugly win than a pretty loss. 10 out of 10.
Right.
So that's how I feel today.
That's That's a great point, especially with what Doug just said, because I mean, to elaborate kind of on what I was thinking about this whole thing, like when I came into the Discord, I was like, man, we're in a good spot. Like I'm really excited to watch us like hold on and win this game. And then everybody in the Discord was like so hating on the offense that by the end of the time on the Discord, I was like, yeah, we do suck on offense. Like, why haven't we thrown the ball, right? Um, but I think that Kalani like runs this ship kind of like an NFL team. He is playing to win each football game and not necessarily like a 2019 LSU that or like the Oklahoma teams of the 2010s where it's like we are better than you and we are going to show it in every way possible and we have a bunch of NFL to do our thing, and our thing is going to beat whatever the frick you throw at us 90% of the time, right? Like, I feel like Oklahoma's the perfect example of that. They would just throw the ball a billion times and play the super high octane, like octane offense, and most of the time they were going to win because like nobody could stop it, right? But I think Kalani realizes that we don't have that, and so he comes up with a game plan. And again, this is just me, outsider, just fan on the couch seeing this, but it feels like he creates a very specific game plan for each game. And if we go out and execute his game plan, it is specifically built to beat that team, right? Like we knew that Cincinnati couldn't run the football. We knew that Cincinnati like they wanted to run the football, but that we were going to be able to stop them, right? Whatever. Um, but we'd let them march down the field, and then we'd stop them in the red zone, right? We'd hold them to a field goal. And granted, you know, I'm
They'd
we
miss.
we we saw what happened, right? We saw what happened. Kalani is building these game plans to beat specific teams. And so he comes in and he's like, "Hey, we have a huge advantage in the run game up front. We out physical them. Like Doug said, we got bigger and better bodies. We're just going to run LJ Martin until he passes away on the field, and that's going to win us the football game. And that's exactly what we did. So, does it instill confidence in you as a fan? Not really, because you can't extrapolate that, right? You can't say this performance means that we'll beat this team, right? You can't really say that because it's so specific to each game. But at the end of the day, like it has been working lately, so I you can't really complain. Does that make sense, Jessa?
Totally. And I think if I'm understanding, well, let me tell you if it makes sense. Like our perspective as fans is we see 10% of what actually goes on, right? And sometimes that's a good thing and sometimes that's a bad thing, right? And so what I'm hearing you say is like maybe it's it's not a bad thing that we don't know and we can't see. We kind of have to guess what the game plan is and like guess how we're going to show up every week, you know? Like because I totally agree that we're game planning for the opponent, and you see a different type of opponent every week. Like, and
Right,
we're winning the game. You could make the argument that actually we're not one dimensional. Like, look
right,
at us last week against TCU. Bear had how many passing yards, right? And we won the
exactly.
game through the air. And then this week, Bear's still efficient. He just only threw it 25 times. He still
Right,
completed 58% of those 25 times, right? But we just ran it 40 times, you know?
right,
And that was the game plan. And at half, the coaches are looking at this like, okay, we could be stubborn and want to continue to try and get the passing game going, or we could freaking win the game. And A-Rod said, let's win the game. And
right.
so,
And you can't fault them for that. Like at the end of
no,
the day, especially in the spot that BYU is in currently, winning is the most important thing. That is all you want, right? This is it. And again, that's why I say it's like an NFL thing because in the NFL, there's no style points. There's no like, there's no style points. There's no like statements. There's no like, I want to prove something with this game. It's just, no, just win the freaking game and go home because it's so hard to win a football game. And that's kind of the approach that Kalani is taking is let's just win the football game and go home. And
yep,
that in college football, like that will hurt you if you don't win all your games. Like BYU is going to see if we can't beat Texas Tech, like we're going to really wish that we had beaten the teams by a lot more, right? And whether or not we could have, up to debate, right? But in college football, you kind of do need style points if you don't have a very big brand. And kind of props to Kalani for just saying like F everything, like we're just gonna win football games the way we win football games, and whether or not that gets us in the playoff, that's not up to me to decide, so I'm not gonna get angry about it. I'm just gonna win football games because that's the most important thing.
yeah, yep, 100%. Um, Interesting, just for perspective, looking at other teams, like let's look at Oklahoma this week. They
Mm.
won 17-6 against Missouri. And if you were watching that game, like I regrettably was, that was an
Oh,
ugly football game. Neither team looked good. You see what I'm saying? But the national
mhm.
media is not going to sit up here and be like, but Oklahoma didn't look
Right,
flashy enough. Right?
right.
They'd never do that. So I think there is a little bit of a, what do you call it, an inferiority complex for us where we're like, we have to look perfect.
Yes.
Right? And so I think that's where my expectations were, and I think I learned a little bit, like you're saying, maybe to temper those a little bit, because the other thing I was going to say to your point, did you hear Kalani and media availability today?
I've not listened to today's yet.
He's he's pissed off at the media. Like he sounded, and I say pissed off, like his version of pissed off is like, you've known me.
Grumpy.
He said something like this at the end. He's like, you've known me for how long? Like, of course I'm gonna get my backups reps. Like, I can't prescribe that. Like, he answered
Yeah.
a question like that, right? And I
Yeah.
think, and he says in media availability, it's hard to win games in the Big 12. Like, get off my
Hmm.
back, basically. And
Right.
also, it was a little bit of an air of like, let me do my job. I'm 21
Yeah.
and 3 in the last 2 years.
You can
Like,
shut up.
yep, why? And he's a little bit like, all I care about are the guys in the locker room, right? And like, I totally get that. He's like, I don't care
Yeah.
if we win by 1 or 40. Like, the guys in the locker room are improving as men and as football players. That's all I care about. So I have been humbled as a fan this weekend, and I think it's good. I think it's good.
Yeah, well, I don't think it's necessarily our fault though, especially our generation, because we grew up in BYU and independence, right?
Yeah.
And what was the overall like vibes or like the prevailing like feeling at all times was that we have no conference. We have no conference championship game. We have no alignment to anything. The only way that BYU can get recognized is by blowing people out and winning every single game. So there was like this tension and stress and fear every year that like every game is so important that you look perfect because that's the only way that you're going to get recognized because the only way to do anything was to go undefeated or have one loss and blow everyone else out, and then maybe you get looked at for New Year's Six, right? That was
Right.
like our whole like high school and college, right? But now that we're in the Big 12, like things have changed. We're playing better teams. We don't need to beat like FAU by 48 points in order to get recognized. We don't need that. Now, would it help? Absolutely. Like if we go out and smack UCF, that would be great and better than if we don't go out and smack them, right? And just win by like a touchdown. But still, we're in the Big 12 now. Winning football games like should be enough. I get it that if you beat Cincinnati 26-14 the way we did, and they missed three kicks and like would have beaten us if they'd made all their kicks and hadn't gone for a 4th and 2 at the goal line, like I get that that is not encouraging to you to extrapolate that to the Big 12 championship game and think, hey, this shows that we can beat Texas Tech again. You still won a Power Five conference game. Like that is
On the
still good.
road.
At the end of the day, we needed a win and we got a win. And I don't want to tell everyone that you just have to be happy with that. I'm just saying let's take a step back and realize that this isn't independence. And right now, if BYU just keeps winning, then we'll be in. And that's all Kalani is focused on.
Yep. Again, perspective, okay?
Exactly.
Georgia Tech started out 8-0, right? Who did they lose to initially? NC State. They lost to
Hmm.
NC State. Okay. They beat Boston College 1-9, Boston College by 1 point, and then they get the brakes beat off of them by Pitt, who got the brakes beat off of them by Notre Dame the week before. So if we were in a scenario like that, where we're 8-0 and we're like, we we don't have a quality win. Like we're in a bad conference and we're not being dominant at all. Then there's cause for concern. I don't think that's us, right? Obviously, we've
Right.
won. We've won. It feels like a million gritty road games. Like
Hmm.
so. Say what you want. I think we're still a good team, like you said. Like there are things to be grateful for.
Yeah, and I do not want to be the guy that's just like, shut up and be grateful
No.
because you are a fan and you are completely entitled to being mad at things not going your way. I'm just trying to add a different flavor that, yes, we can be mad, but maybe it's because of X, Y, and Z
Yeah.
and not because we're stupid and incompetent. Maybe it's just our coaches have different goals than fans do.
Yep.
That's all I'm
Yeah.
trying to say.
We're not saying that the game wasn't ugly. I think that was ugly.
Right? We still should have lost that game. If Cincinnati makes its kicks and kicks it on 4th and goal instead of going for it, we lose the game. I mean, obviously, maybe we call some things differently, but let's
Yeah.
not forget that LJ scored in garbage time to make that thing a two-score game. Like, this was a 6-point ball game. So it was definitely ugly. I'm glad LJ's on our side
Yeah.
because if we didn't have LJ, we're definitely losing that game.
Yeah. Definitely. I think that's a good recap of how
Yeah.
we're
I
feeling.
don't
Yeah,
really
I
know what
think
to say.
you know what? Well, hold on. We haven't talked about the defense really fast. Let's talk about the defense
Okay.
because
Yeah, actually, this is a great point because this is separate. I think this is more separate than what our previous conversation.
yep, I don't have a whole ton of thoughts on the first half because I feel like the theme that is emerging, the pattern that is emerging is okay, we have a certain game plan. The guys like either don't wake up or they just look lost. I don't know what it is, but we just need to get to halftime. Like our defense on third down.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll talk about third down in a second. That actually is not applicable for this game. But we just need to get to halftime, and then the second half we're absolutely just dominant, right? And I felt a little bit of that in this game. I definitely thought that the halftime adjustments, like the third quarter, was really good. Um, but going into the fourth quarter, you can say all you want about the defense, but we held Cincinnati to 1 for 10 third downs going into the third quarter, and then they converted 3 for 3 for the
Yeah.
last little bit. But 4 for 13 on third downs,
Yep.
like that's good job defense. That's a good stat. And then we won the turnover battle 2-0.
Right.
So
huge.
Huge. That's a recipe for a win right there.
Yep. And and I guess this is kind of going back to our previous conversation. I said it was going to be different, but this point I'm going to make is actually very similar. Jay Hill game planned to make Cincinnati, like the game plan was for Cincinnati specifically now, because when we were talking about this last week, we talked about what does Cincinnati want to do? They want to try and run the football, and Brendan Sorsby is a dual threat. He's not great through the air, right? We were talking about that. What did Brendan Sorsby do in the game? He threw the ball 40 times.
Yes.
38 times. He did carry the ball 8 times. He was their leading rusher,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah, you're right. That's what I meant. He was their leading rusher. But yeah, 40 times.
Yes. He was their leading rusher, but he threw the ball 40 times. And granted, he did throw for 300 yards, 8 yards per attempt, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. I think Jay Hill was like, hey, you're not going to beat us with your legs. They only had 87 rushing yards, and Brendan Sorsby only had 40 of those, right? Along of 14. And he said, Brendan Sorsby, like, we're going to force you to beat us through the air. And Brendan Sorsby tried, got pretty close, but wasn't able to do it. Like, I think that's a shout out to Jay Hill of, hey, we're going to force them to play a game style that I think will lead us to a victory. They came about as close as they could, but the game plan still worked, right?
Yeah.
They weren't able to establish a run. BYU annihilated them in time of possession. Like these are all the things that Cincinnati has been trying to do, and we made them play outside of themselves and change their game plan to try and beat us. And so we had the high ground effectively.
Yeah, for sure. Um, and while you were talking, I was just thinking, we forget the other team's game plan for us too. So
Hmm.
slow starts sometimes. Again, I just feel like I'm coming back down to earth here, and we're gonna run out of time. We'll do a little ad break and then come back. Um, but other teams' game plan for us too. So sometimes what they are going to do is gonna work because we haven't seen it before. That's just sports, right? And that's more of a pep talk for me. But so maybe that was the reason for why we couldn't get any pressure in the first half and stuff like that. Okay, we'll be back after this ad break.
All right, we're back. We've been very positive up to this point, Jess. So I'm going to get a little negative right here.
Great. Even us out.
I still think our receiving core is dog water. LJ Martin left, or he led our team in receiving yards with 44, and more than half of that came on a screen pass of 26 yards. Um, he also only had 3 receptions and he led our team in. Like, this is not good enough. Parker Kingston was the next with 7, Carson Ryan with 2, JoJo, Chase, and Cody all had 1. Chase Roberts is injured. I would say we're going to miss him, but I really don't know. Um, he hasn't really been here for a while since like the West Virginia game. I feel like he showed up in spurts, but he has not been what we thought he would be this year. Again, we said all these positive things about the team. Our receiving core is not good enough to win us a Big 12 championship, I don't think. If we win a Big 12 championship, it will be because Texas Tech does not show up or because somehow we are able to scheme open and like we're going to force them to commit more people to stopping the run. I have no faith in our passing game right now. How's that for negativity?
I 100% agree. I think that's probably the See, this is us fanning, right? We this is validation for everybody. You can be frustrated with whatever you want. Yeah, I think that Chase is 80% of our receiving game. And you'd be like, "What? No, Parker Kingston has really good games." Well, he only has really good games when Chase is in to take the best corner and the best safety. Like,
Oh, good
do you
point.
see what I'm saying? So,
Yep.
and when Chase isn't doing that, then I think I'm quoting Ty here. When Chase isn't doing that, then Parker can't handle the number one corner and the number one safety,
Oh,
right? That's what it
oh
feels
yeah.
like. So,
Oh yeah.
so we've got to be going back to what Doug said. We've got to be really creative, like you said. And my hope is not high. I'm gonna be honest. I need to start getting excited for the run game, more excited, you know?
Yeah.
And that's how I'm going to temper my expectations so I don't get disappointed after an ugly win because we're just not a passing team,
Nope.
apparently.
We
Not against
we
elite defenses, actually, I should say.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Against West Virginia and TCU, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now,
Iowa
let me
State.
Iowa State. True,
Yeah.
true. Um, Chase Roberts, okay, our leading receiver. He's out. Okay. He only leads Parker Kingston by like 30 yards. Okay. He is not even going to sniff 1,000 yards this year, Chase Roberts. I mean, he's obviously probably not going to play this Saturday, so it wouldn't matter anyway. He has 713, and Parker with 678. After that is Carson Ryan with 387. Like, these are not good numbers if you're trying to be an elite offense. Like, Bear has 2,300 passing yards. Like, these are very, very average stats. For Bear, I don't put this on him. I'm just
No.
our passing game just isn't good this year, and I don't think that we're going to be able to beat elite teams, like you said, period, at all, in any way, because we won't be able to throw the ball on them, which means they're just going to stop us in the run game, which means game over. Then, like, you scored 0 points in the first 3 quarters against Texas Tech. So, all that aside, I don't like the faith in. I'm just trying not to get super negative, but I'm really negative right now about this offense because I don't think we can beat anybody with numbers like these because we saw in the previous game Texas Tech was not scared of our passing attack for good reason. So they just stopped the run and forced us to beat them through the air, and we couldn't do it. So why should we believe that there's going to be anything else different? I'm just going on a rant here. Please stop me whenever you want to. The train is going to crash at some point.
I'm gonna stoke the fire actually. I have a question for you. Do you
Okay.
think that Bear needs to take more risks? Throw into tighter windows, try to create plays with the ball.
That's a tough question because I have liked how safe he's been with the ball. It's very
Mm-hmm.
different than Jake. Jake was not safe with the football at all, but it felt like there were some more explosives, like a lot of deep shots to Darius Lassiter specifically. Now, Darius is probably better than any receiver that we have on our team right now, but I think I would agree with you, Jess. I think I could see Bear maybe sling it a little bit more.
And here's why, like you said, I think at this point as a fan, if I'm, because Bear obviously plays to please me, right? That's obviously.
Obviously.
Yeah, nobody else. No. He's like, what does Jessa want? Okay, here's Bear. Here's what I want. Um, Sling the rock. If you throw interceptions, I'm just gonna assume they're not your fault. Okay? You're trying to make a play and our receivers can't get open. Okay? That's it. But try. Like throw
Just
an
try.
interception or two, you know?
Yep.
At this point, at this point, like I really don't feel like we have that much to lose. As
Yeah.
weird as that sounds. With if he were to do that, because I feel like we're good enough to overcome his turnovers, at least this weekend. And then in the Big 12 championship game, if we make it there, uh, I don't think his interceptions would be the reason we'd lose a game, to be completely honest. So
Yeah.
I'm like, it would be worse to me if we don't try to throw the ball.
Right.
No interceptions, and yet he's like 8 for 16 with 40 yards of screen pass. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like
Right.
try. But anyways,
Yeah.
that's where I don't know. I don't know what'll happen on Friday. I mean Saturday. We'll get into that next episode. But
Yeah, and also this is kind of the sucky part that we none of these questions will really be answered versus UCF.
yeah.
Like we might see some things, but it's going to be a lot of all right, do it against Texas Tech. You know,
Yep. That's
so
I'm already feeling that way, to be
right.
honest. So,
And like BYU, I mean, this is kind of a good transition. BYU just needs to win on Saturday, and they're into the Big 12 championship. It's that easy. I
yep.
think we out to Doug's point. I think we're bigger. I think we out talent them. I think we'll win on Saturday. Like we absolutely should, unless we come out and crap the bed. This team this year has not done that in a traditional letdown spot. We only did that like on the biggest game of the year, right, or the second
Yep.
biggest game of the year. But we haven't done it in any other situation. So that makes me feel confident that we are going to win Saturday.
It's at
Um,
home too. Say what you
right,
want.
senior
It's at
day.
home. Yep.
Yeah. But if we were to carry the win in the end thing into the playoff, that means you would have to win versus Texas Tech. And as you have heard us in the last 5 minutes, I don't think we're very confident in that. Jessa, last week was not very good for BYU's at large chances. We needed a couple things
No.
to happen, and basically nothing did.
Yeah. I think on our little sheet we went 2 for 7. Is that right? 2 for 9?
2 for 9.
2 for
Yes, two
9.
and seven.
2-7. Okay,
Yes.
great. There were 9 games we had our eyes on, and it looks like Arizona won over Baylor. That's awesome. We need Arizona to do it again this weekend against Arizona State,
Yep.
and then Pitt beat Georgia Tech, which is wild after how they looked against Notre Dame.
Yeah. Um, I think our at-large chances, gonzo. I think there's no chance unless something absolutely insane like an Auburn over Alabama or an LSU over Oklahoma. Both of those spreads are massive. Like there's probably no shot either of those things will happen. Again, it's college football. I guess anything can happen, but you can't count on that. So
Yeah.
I think if BYU wins the Big 12, obviously they go to the playoff. If they lose, Pop Tarts, baby.
Yeah, Pop Tarts, let's go. Which I'm very excited for personally.
Yep.
If you didn't know, because we talk about it every episode. Um, yeah, I think I'm with you. We need Notre Dame, Oklahoma, or even or Alabama to pick up a loss. And
Yeah.
I mean, okay, Ty Simpson threw 2 interceptions against East Illinois or whatever they
Okay.
are.
Okay.
Just
I mean, it would be
saying,
sick. It would be sick if
it'd be
Alabama
great.
could lose to Auburn. Again, I don't think it's going to happen. And if it does, I think that just puts us in the same conversation with them. I don't even think
Yeah,
that means
that's
BYU
true.
gets in over them, right? Like, you can you imagine if Alabama gets left out of the playoff 2 years in a row for a Big 12 slash ACC loser of a champ game with two losses? Like, someone is going to lose their head. The Mafia is going to have a hit out on somebody. So
It's
that's
wild.
it's probably the best place to wrap it up, Jess, unless you've got something else to say here. Um,
Nah, that's just wild that's wild to me because it's like, well, we won more games than you. But
right? How is this even a conversation?
that's an insane thought to have. Whoa.
Crazy,
Yeah,
crazy.
crazy. So, nope, I think that's a good place to end it.
Cool. Well, we will be back Thursday or Friday. I don't really know with the holiday schedule. We might record Wednesday. I don't know. We'll be back again, and we'll probably do a little megasode with all the Ohio State fans. So, yeah,
Let's go. Go Cougs.